Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're a focused learner trying to master the high-yield facts of clinical practice, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're zooming in on a really high-stakes area of emergency medicine, trauma to the urinary tract. Our goal here is to completely demystify the red flags of renal, bladder, and urethral injuries. We're going to break down exactly how they present clinically, uncover some truly fascinating diagnostic signs, and go over the absolute never events that you absolutely have to know.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is definitely not just some theoretical question. It's a very specific, incredibly visceral reality that ER docs face all the time. Think about it. When a patient falls astride an object, say they slip and straddle a fence or maybe a bicycle crossbar, that blunt force trauma is intensely localized and honestly devastating. Understanding exactly what that physical impact does to the body's hidden plumbing is absolutely crucial. It's the key to stopping a bad injury from turning into a catastrophic, life-threatening complication.
So, here's our diagnostic roadmap for this explainer. 1. Anatomy of urinary trauma. 2. Renal injury and shock. 3. Bladder and pelvic dangers. 4. Urethral tears, falling astride. 5. The floating prostate sign. And 6. When not to catheterize.
Section 1. Anatomy of urinary trauma.
Let's ground all this complex medical data into actual physical locations so we can visualize why different injuries look the way they do. Looking at our structural map, you can see the urinary system is split into 3 main zones. Up top, you've got the upper tract. That's the kidneys and ureters. Below that is the lower tract, which is primarily the bladder. And finally, the exit pathway, the urethra. Now, the exact location of an injury completely changes what you'll see clinically. A massive crush injury up top is going to require a vastly different intervention than a localized tear way down at the bottom.
Section 2. Renal injury and shock.
Let's move to our map and see how this builds, starting right at the top with the kidneys. When someone suffers severe skeletal muscle trauma, like a major crush injury or a really prolonged fall, and they go into systemic shock, the kidneys take a massive hit. The body's immediate response is to drastically cut renal blood flow. But here's the really dangerous part. That damaged skeletal muscle starts breaking down and dumping its contents straight into the bloodstream. This is a condition known as rhabdomyolysis. It releases a specific protein called myoglobin. Now, the kidneys try to filter this myoglobin, but it actually precipitates out and literally clogs up the renal tubules. This toxic debris causes acute kidney injury, specifically acute tubular necrosis. So, what's the visual red flag here? The patient's urine will actually turn a dark tea or cola color because of all that visible myoglobin. It's a clear, immediate warning sign.
Section 3. Bladder and pelvic dangers.
All right, guiding our focus further down the anatomical map, we enter the pelvis. We really need to pay attention here because the clinical signs shift dramatically in the lower tract, and this brilliantly illustrates how the plumbing actually works. When the lower tract or the exit pathway is suddenly blocked or traumatized, it causes an immediate, agonizing backup. The patient is going to present with acute urinary retention. The urine just has nowhere to go, so the bladder fills and stretches like a balloon. Clinically, this means severe suprapubic pain, and the physician will literally be able to feel a distended, palpable bladder right above the pubic bone, one that'll actually sound dull if you percuss it.
Section 4. Urethral tears, falling astride. Now we arrive at the very bottom, the exit pathway. Let's look at the specific mechanisms that can just destroy the urethra. Generally, there are 2 major ways the urethra gets torn in a trauma setting, representing very different types of physical force. On one side, you have pelvic fractures. This is generalized, massive blunt force. Picture a severe car crash, where the actual breaking of the pelvic ring shears the urethra. On the other side, we have those falling astride injuries we mentioned earlier. This is a highly localized, direct impact from straddling a hard object. While the mechanisms are totally different, one crushes the bones, the other is a direct upward strike, they both result in devastating urethral trauma that immediately stops the flow of urine.
Section 5. The floating prostate sign.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is, well, it brings us to one of the most bizarre, fascinating, and absolutely vital red flags in all of emergency medicine. Look at the sheer mechanics of the injury here. When a male patient suffers pelvic trauma with severe urethral injury, the urethra can actually be severed completely. Normally, the prostate gland sits securely anchored right above the urethra. But if that structural anchor is sheared right off, the prostate becomes totally unmoored. So when a doctor performs a digital rectal exam to check for pelvic trauma, instead of feeling that firmly anchored prostate, they're going to feel a high, floating prostate. It has literally detached and migrated upwards. Wild, right?
So, when a trauma patient rolls through those ER doors, the doctor is immediately running this rapid-fire mental checklist to spot urethral tears. They're asking, is there a history of falling astride an object? Was there a major impact causing a pelvic fracture? Does the patient have a suddenly distended bladder and urinary retention? And crucially, on a digital rectal exam, is there a high floating prostate? If these red flags are popping up, the clinical picture is crystal clear, and it triggers an immediate, hard stop on standard procedures.
Section 6. When not to catheterize. Okay, we are going to slow things way down for a second, because what we're about to discuss is a definitive never event in emergency care. So the crucial point is this. If you suspect a urethral injury based on those red flags we just covered, inserting a urinary catheter is absolutely contraindicated. You cannot fly blind here. If a practitioner tries to force a catheter through a torn or completely severed urethra, the tube is not going to magically enter the bladder. Instead, it's going to punch right through the injury site, catastrophically perforating the lower urinary tract and just tunneling straight into the surrounding pelvic tissue. You've just turned a repairable tear into a massive, complicated internal disaster.
Instead, the medical guidelines demand an incredibly strict, methodical protocol. Step 1. Stop. Do not, under any circumstances, insert that urinary catheter. Step 2. Evaluate the trauma by performing a digital rectal examination. Step 3. Check specifically for that lack of tone or that high floating prostate sign which confirms the structural detachment. And finally, Step 4. Call urology immediately. You absolutely need a specialist to intervene safely at this point.
Which leaves us with this final thought for today's explainer. In the adrenaline-fueled chaos of emergency medicine, the natural instinct is almost always to act quickly, right? To intervene, to place the line, to insert the tube. But is the fastest intervention always the safest? As we've seen with urinary tract trauma, sometimes the most heroic and life-saving thing a practitioner can do is recognize those subtle red flags, like a falling astride history or a floating prostate, and purposefully withhold action. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Keep asking those structural whys behind the clinical whats, and I'll see you next time.